Okay, let's dig in a little more on this with Ryan Jespersen. He is the host of Real Talk podcast. Joining me now from Edmonton. You are in the city where this all, I think, probably matters most, at least to those constituents. And we heard Rosie there talking about reactions from them. What are you seeing in terms of how voters, particularly in his riding, are reacting?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. You know, Matt Jeneroux, a longtime Conservative politician, of course, in Alberta, first as an MLA and then as a member of Parliament, a Conservative member of Parliament, has, forged and established a strong reputation as a reputable guy, as kind of a middle-of-the-road, pragmatic Conservative. And Jeneroux, as many Albertans had probably become accustomed to some pretty tidy election results and had sort of won handily on a number of successive elections. But most recently in Edmonton, Riverbend, it wasn't a cakewalk, and it's a riding that I think could be described potentially as a riding that could be up for grabs were this to go to a by-election with Jeneroux's expected resignation. And everybody had been talking, Sarah, for a number of months about the rumors of relatively high-profile Edmontonians, or Albertans anyway, that were considering throwing their hat into the ring there. So the riding, I think, was perceived as one that could swing. And so we're getting mixed results to this. There are folks that we were hearing from, the minute that this happened, that were grateful to see an Alberta MP take a role that'll probably be pretty significant, in particular with this defense industrial strategy. And then, of course, there's a ton of people that are, quite frankly, choked about this. Many of them suggesting that they'd like to see by-elections automatically triggered anytime a Canadian politician, and in particular an MP, crosses the floor. So can I say mixed feedback?
You can. You can, and I'm not surprised. I mean, they voted, people voted Conservative, and, now they have a Liberal MP. So I guess my next question, interesting that you're talking about the fact that there were this play in motion as to who might run when Jeneroux stepped down, which is what we all had been told was going to happen. That is not obviously what has happened. Did you see this coming? Did anyone see this coming?
No, I mean, I'd say a couple of things. Number one, of course, I understand the perspective of a voter, in this case, a Conservative voter, that would say, we work hard. Maybe we volunteered for the campaign. Maybe we knocked doors. We donated. We helped the campaign. And now you're helping Mark Carney at a time when the Conservative Party needs you most, right? At a time when, as Rosie just laid out, when a majority government, could be a possibility, a very real possibility. And then that changes the entire landscape for Pierre Poilievre all the way down. I mean, starting with Mark Carney, let's say that. So I get it, and I get why people would think that. I will say, a peek behind the curtain. I had a chance to sit down off camera with Matt Jeneroux, who I've known for many years, shortly after he announced his resignation. And I can tell you that he appeared to be at peace with his decision. He acknowledged, I did speak with the Prime Minister. No, I decided against. No, I'm not going to cross over to that government. And we're going to wrap it up. One thing that I thought was particularly interesting, without betraying, as the off-the-record conversations, but Matt Jeneroux indicated to me that he planned to tender his resignation effective immediately. And it wasn't until Pierre Poilievre stepped in front of microphones to address it, this is several months back, that Mr. Poilievre said that Matt Jeneroux will be resigning in the spring. That struck me as news to Matt Jeneroux. And at the end of the day, now looking back, it seems like that move may have hurt Pierre Poilievre. Maybe he wanted to punt that by-election past the Conservative Convention and past his own leadership review. I don't know. But instead of resigning, Matt Jeneroux stayed there in the role, maybe appearing to be a bit of a lame duck politician on his way out, but nonetheless, still the MP for Edmonton Riverbend. And now, empowered to make that decision to cross, he changed his mind. And that's a big story.
Yeah, well, and what about the timing of this? Because you talked about the Conservative Convention that I feel like just happened in Calgary, and Poilievre doing quite well in terms of the support from his party. And this does not give, this floor crossing on the part of Jeneroux does not give the Liberals at this time a majority, but it certainly puts them in a stronger position. What do you make of the timing here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a lot of people wondering if Jamil Javani's solo mission down to Washington D.C. factored into that. His comments about Canadians' hissy fit and this anti-American hissy fit, and whether or not conservatives publicly, or at least Mr. Javani, was aligning conservatives, dragging them into alignment with the president of the United States at a time when Donald Trump is incredibly unpopular in Canada. Maybe all of that figured in. I'll share with you my personal theory, which is this huge announcement that the prime minister made. It's being overshadowed, I suppose, maybe temporarily, but overshadowed today anyway, about this defense industrial strategy and this significant investment that the federal government's going to be making in Canadian defense contractors across the board. There's no municipality in the country, there's no region in the country that stands to benefit more from this than Edmonton. And Matt Jeneroux's riding, Edmonton Riverbend, while not officially enveloping the Edmonton International Airport, it borders it. And he's very familiar with the power players there. He's certainly a connector. He's a person with credibility. And I'm basing this is pure speculation, but I can't help but wonder if he's going to be quarterbacking or at least playing a significant role for the federal government, as Edmonton becomes, I think, a real significant player in this new defense strategy.
Some interesting insight from the ground in Edmonton. Ryan Jespersen, host of the Real Talk podcast. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sarah.